Yo, what's going on, y'all? It's your boy, itstybuggy. Yo, man, today this video is mainly for my guys that's from about 18 to like 21. I want to give you guys a couple of things that I wish I would have known in my early 20s. The mindset I wish I would have had, because your early 20s is a pivotal time. I'm 27 years old, and at 27, I look back and I'm like, damn, the time flew. So one of the main things I want to tell y'all is this: time is not on your side. And I know that's very harsh, and I want this video to be as real as possible. I feel like people get on YouTube and they want to give y'all soft messages to make you kind of feel good, or they just overly aggressive you. And I want to be honest with you. Time is not on your side. Time only keeps moving. So when you guys constantly promise yourself that later on you'll do right, later on you'll figure it out, later on you have later on. I'm gonna be honest with you, okay? I have a lot of friends from the age of 18 to me being 27 that passed away. That's just the truth. So when you look at their life and they believe they had a later on never came. They promised themselves that they would get things right later on, and they just believed they had time. And of course, you know, God rest all of their souls or whatever, but at the end of the day, it put things into perspective of the only thing you own is right now. For instance, if we only have 10 more years to live, then you've lived 90% of your life already. Scratch all of that, all right? I just wanted to put that kind of in your head, because you may think, oh, I'm young, I have time, but you're young to what timeline? You're young to live until 100. The life expectancy in real life is 77. Now, this ain't a video to sit here and tell you that your time is almost up or something like that. It's just use your time wisely. Listen, the biggest lie I was told when I was in my 20s or when I was 18 was that you make your mistakes in your 20s and you fix your life in your 30s. And then you retire when you're like 50, 60. Why? The mindset that I wish I would have been preached is grind in your 20s because you have the rest of your life to be an adult. I'm not saying grow up fast and try to have a family and everything in your 20s. I'm not saying that. If that's what you want, by all means. Like, I have a fiance and everything. I have a daughter, everything. I have another kid on the way and I'm 27, all right? So, and I have my daughter at 19. But anyways, look at your 20s as this is the time to learn what it is to be an adult. If you don't make the big mistakes of taking out these huge loans, messing up your credit, things of that nature that most 20-year-old people do, instead you learn about investments, you learn about credit, you learn about mortgage. The rest of your life is coasting. You learn how to budget properly. You learn this in your 20s while your brain is still being formed of what kind of adult you're gonna be. Instead of, once you get to your 30s, you have to unlearn all the bad stuff you were doing in your 20s, because you were told in your 20s you could just bullshit. You'll be alright. You know what I mean? You have time to fix all of this. What if you did it the opposite? Think about it. You have 10 years until you're 30, right? From the age of 20, you have 10 years. So imagine if you became an expert on what it is to be an adult in America or wherever you are. Use those 10 years for that. Now, when your 30s come, for the rest of your life, you can live off of what you learned. Your 20s is only 10 years. But I'm gonna tell you something, it goes by like this. And while it's going by, all of those mistakes you were making, you're gonna look back before you know it and be like, dang, I didn't do nothing but accumulate debt. I didn't do nothing but create regrets. Granted, learn through your mistakes. Make your mistakes, but make calculated mistakes. Don't just go out there and run up a credit card. Don't go out there and pay rent in a place that I don't know, it's not worth, like, you know, just make smart decisions. Learn about auto loans. Learn about interest, because prior to you being 18, you probably didn't know nothing about these things. You thought that life, you know, like once I turn 18, I'm gonna get a license, I'm gonna get a car, and you know, if I get enough money, I could go to the dealership and I'll see if I have enough money to get a car note, and then I can get insurance, not knowing that you're paying way too much for that car. You think that the car is $12,000, but the person's not really telling you at the end of your contract, you actually paid $24,000, but you didn't understand interest. These are things that I wish I understood when I was in my early 20s. I learned a lot through mistakes. You know what I mean? Don't be an impulsive buyer. Don't be somebody that just because you have the money, you have to spend it. That's one of the biggest issues in your 20s, is because this is a time where you're still a child. Your mind is still kind of childish. So like part of you wants to still fit in, kind of like you wanted to fit in when you was in school. So when it's time for you to show everybody like, yo, I got some money. Like for instance, yo, I finally got tax time. I finally got $2,000, right? How can people know you got $2,000 without you going like this? Now I mean, or you're gonna wear Balenciagas, or you want to wear, you know, a nice jacket with some Cartier shades. But that $2,000 is gone now. So it's like, okay, you're showing you have it, but you really don't have it. You spent it, so you don't have it anymore. This is financial literacy. You don't spend money on just fun until you spend money to work for you. One of the main things that I'm telling everybody right now is, yo, you need to figure out, if you get some money, tax time is the best time to come up. You get some money, you need to figure out, you get a lump sum of money, you need to figure out how to make that money work for you. A lot of y'all are in college that are watching this video. You guys have financial aid. You get a refund from your school. With that refund, find out how to make that money back. You know what I mean? I didn't even understand how financial aid really worked when I was in school. I didn't understand what a loan was. It wasn't until now, you know, I'm in my upper 20s and these people are calling me talking about I gotta pay them back. I'm like, pay you back for what? Like, I was just, you know, filling out paperwork so I keep going to school. I've been going to school all my life. Whole time not knowing, okay, these loans have to be paid for. Like, grants is what I should have been trying to get. But I'm saying all this to say, y'all, take your time in your 20s, but be smart. Be smart with your money. Don't be ego driven. Save money. What saving money means, y'all, it does not mean you have to save your whole check. Saving money, first of all, is a mentality. You put aside $20 just for a rainy day. It's just like paying insurance, but that's your insurance for life. Let me explain to you. A lot of people say, don't save. They say you save, you're scared or whatever. I personally feel like you should save and you should invest. Okay, you should have a savings for a rainy day and you should invest. Saving for a rainy day, it will literally save your ass. What people don't understand is when you live paycheck to paycheck, you're only one flat tire away from being behind. When you live paycheck from paycheck, you're only one mistake away from getting behind, your account being in the negatives. Putting aside $20 for that day that will come where you're gonna need some money to save you in a situation. That $20 that you was putting to the side or whatever for the whole year, now I mean after every check, that stuff adds up. It'll keep you from being behind. It is not money to spend right now. It is money for when emergencies happen, you will be good. I'm gonna tell you something. Reason why most adults, and when I say adults, I'm talking about people that are older than you, your mom, your dad, you wonder why they're behind, their credit is shot or whatever. Usually it's because they did not plan for the bad days. So what happened was they had to borrow money. They borrowed money that they didn't have money in the first place, so they can't pay it back. They weren't borrowing the money to make money. They were borrowing money to get them back above water. But now they got to pay back the borrowed money. But they never had that money in the first place. That can all be taken care of if they would have just put some money aside. Again, $10 every paycheck adds up. $20 every paycheck, $50 every paycheck adds up. When you don't have money for a flat tire, flat tires are one of the worst things. Like any adult, now I mean, will tell you, and when I say adult, again, I mean people that are older than you. They will tell you flat tires are one of the worst things you can deal with, alright? Because they're unexpected, they're inconvenience, they stop your day, but they have to be taken care of. So again, you have to, if you don't have that money, it's usually about $100 to get that tire, used tire. Now I mean, or don't even get into a tow. Now I mean, if you gotta get it towed, like, but people will live months without a flat tire happening. So they're like, I don't get flat tires. So what does that mean? You don't plan for them? Oh, I don't have those type of issues that pop up. So you don't plan for that day? Because when that day does come, it's gonna blindside the hell out of you. These are things that I wish I thought about early in my 20s. One of the best things I've learned now that I'm 27, and a lot of this has to do with me being in the military, is I reverse engineer a lot. So what does that mean? That means that instead of waiting for a problem to happen, I think of every possible problem that can happen in my life, and I think of a fix before they happen, because certain things are just inevitable over time. Things are gonna break down. Okay, what do I have money for if it breaks down? Okay, cool. Like just things of that nature. Okay, if this job fires me, do I have something on the side that could keep my phone bill paid? Now, I mean, will I be able to sustain my car note if I get fired? Another way. I always had about 3 options to pay my bills, because I know a job is very like up and down. You never know. All it takes is for somebody to come into work and be like, hey man, I really don't like how white your teeth is. You gotta go home. Like, and I can't argue that. Like, there's only so much I can say, you know, like, and I'm just using that example, but basically somebody could fire you for anything. So always have it planned in 3 different ways on how you can pay your bills. Don't wait to lose a job like I did. I had to lose a job, be humbled, start driving Lyft. Like, I had a good job. I had to start driving Lyft, and I'm selling colognes out the Lyft, like to people, you know, in my back seat on Fridays and Saturday nights just to get extra money, where I just came from making a lot more money, but I was humbled when I was fired. Now, I mean, because I didn't realize, damn, like, I'm only making this money because they're allowing me to. You know, these are the mindset shifts you gotta have. What I wanna close out in this video and say is nobody is coming to save you. If you have parents that they're loaded or whatever, cool, by all means. But especially if you're a guy, nobody's coming to save you. It's gonna come a point in time in your 20s that you're gonna realize, damn, when I fall, mommy is not there to pick me up anymore. I had that moment. You gotta think about it. Prior to your 18s and down, you were most likely living with your parents. Every time you would fail or you needed food was made. Now, I mean, water, you needed to shower, they made sure the shower was hot. The water was hot. Now, I mean, the lights were on. Your parents were making sure of these things. In your 20s, you're gonna realize, unless you do it, it's not there. One of the scariest moments I had when my early 20s, when I first got an apartment, was looking in the refrigerator. Because you never really think about where the fuck does food come from. like when you're a kid, you don't really think like, okay, when we go to the grocery store, that's our parents buying food with the money that's limited to them and that time able to eat. You don't really consider that because you're so used to just, you know, being fed. But once you become an adult, you realize it's not, the only way you're gonna eat is if you go get the food. Only way you can go get the food is if you got money to go get it. If not, you will starve. If you don't pay the bills will shut off. And if you don't have it, there's gonna come a point in time nobody's gonna help you. So you have to figure these things out on your own. The earlier you figure it out, the least amount of mistakes you can make. And the best part about you and the time you're living in is information is free. YouTube University. I've made so much money just by learning off of YouTube. I've done so much just off of, I've learned more from YouTube than I have from college. From college, high school, middle school, or elementary school, and I have my degree. I've learned way more from YouTube. So you have no excuse. If you have a question, there's an answer. You just have to look for it. You will find it. Have a lot of questions. Gain knowledge and don't try to be like nobody else. Because the truth of the matter is, your friends that you have in your early 20s, by the time you're like 25, everybody phases out. Because everybody's now starting to live their own lives. So whereas you're trying to fit in as if you're still in middle school and high school, it's not the real world. No, to fit in, like, unless it's something that, like, you know, you and your friends are progressing, to fit in is just gonna hold you behind. Who you hang around is so important. One of the best things I did in my early 20s was I was okay with being different from my friends. It was a hard adjustment, but I had a kid at 19. At 19, I have a kid, and my friends don't. They at college parties, they in fraternities, they doing all type of things, and I was just like, damn, like I wish I could, you know, just be out like y'all. Like, I gotta take care of my daughter. I look back and I'm like, I took life so serious so early that now that I'm entering my 30s, I'm kind of coasting. And no shot to my friends, and my friends know this, but they're still trying to figure things out that I figured out in my early 20s. So now I give great counsel to my friends. Now, I mean, and shout out to all my bros because they're actually trying to figure it out. The only reason why I was on the time that I was on at that time was literally because I had a daughter. But even if I didn't have my daughter, I wish somebody would have told me, like, yo, take it serious right now. Now, I mean, but if you take it serious right now, it'll make it easier later. And I actually did have somebody tell me this. It's okay, because when you turn 25, all that stuff is gonna be like, man, I'm glad I wasn't into that stuff. You know how many friends I know that just got into the worst shit? I mean, whether it's criminal records, whether it's going too deep into debt, whether it's dealing with the wrong girl, getting caught up, you know what I mean, or getting beat up, like all type of stuff, all because they were trying to keep up with something. And I, not really being prideful, I'm just like, bro, I'm good. I don't want to do that. That doesn't align with me. Man, you being soft, bro. Hey, if I'm being soft, I'm being soft, but I'm good. I have responsibilities. Now look at me. I stayed away from a lot of things early in life, and it was things that like everybody else was doing. Granted, I was never a cornball, but I always knew my boundaries and my character. I'm not gonna give into whatever somebody's telling me to do because I'm trying to be cool. And in your early 20s, your 18, especially when you're 18 or whatever, you still want to kind of be that cool guy. Be the cool guy, but the coolest guy in the room is the guy that's, yo, I'm cool. Like, yeah, I mean, I do what I want to do. Those are when looking back, those are always the dudes that I was like, man, that dude cool as hell. Like, he's just in his own world. Like, and we see him when we see him, but like, son is always just on his own shit. Like, he's not trying to be like nobody. And then you look at him now, he's living good because he's never trying to follow the crowd. The crowd is the crowd because that's the 99%. You want to be like the 1%. You know what I mean? Remember that. In order for you to be any service to anybody in your family, you have to think about you. You have to think about you. You have to be selfish. That goes against everything you probably ever learned. You have to be selfish to be successful. Take care of you so you can help take care of others. Then you could tell other people how to take care of themselves. I'm a living testament of that. Living testament. Listen, you hear that? I'm a human just like you. Can't hear that, you know what I mean? But hey, you get the point. I'm a human just like you, man. And I've gotten, like, I look back in my 20s and I'm like, yo, I used to sleep on the floor. Like, I used to eat Oreos for dinner. I was eating a double cheeseburger, no onions, no pickles, extra ketchup, and I saved the rest for dinner, eat some for lunch. Like, I remember these days. I remember I didn't have no bed and I had a roommate. He had a bed and I was sleeping on a pallet. Like, I always think back of these days, but so much has happened in my 20s and I'm like, man, one thing I always had though, I always had the drive to get more. I never said to myself, I'll figure it out in my 30s. I always had the mission to figure it out in my 20s. And I can honestly say now, I figured it out. I figured it out, and now going into my 30s, I'm going into it with a lot of knowledge. A lot of capital. Just I'm much further ahead than starting things in my late 20s. You know what I mean? So I just wanted to share this with y'all, man, because, you know, I feel like I could just be a bigger brother to somebody or whatever. A lot of guys, you know, we don't have father figures, whatever. Luckily, I have my father in my life or whatever, but I know dudes don't have father figures, so you don't really know these things. You gotta learn by mistake. I don't feel like everybody gotta learn by mistake. You could just learn from my mistakes. You know what I mean? You can learn from the next man's mistakes. That's the best way to learn. Remember this too, a wise man knows he knows nothing, so know when to be quiet. You know what I mean? Just because you have something to say doesn't mean you have to say it. It is okay just to listen. Sometimes when you just listen, like I play dumb a lot. The reason why I play dumb is because I want somebody to feel confident enough to tell me everything they know. Tell me the best shit they know. Then I can, even if I already know most of it, I can take something out of it. Cause you're a little, you might have a different trick than me. Now I mean, okay, well give me, okay, all right, for real. Ask hella questions. Become a student, man, and apply. I know I said I was gonna end this video, but this is the last thing I'm saying, for real. Once you learn something, apply that shit. Apply that shit. Don't tell yourself, remember how I started this video. You don't know how long you have. You may not be young. You know what I mean? Like, you might be old for the time that you have on this earth, and you don't know that. We don't know that. If, God forbid, I only have till I'm 30, and I'm 27 right now, I'm technically old. I've lived 90% of my life. God forbid. But just think about that. So don't save it for later. Do it now. Learn through mistakes by doing the right things, but try it out. Because once you retain that information, a lot of times your broke mind, because you're so used to not having money, it will figure out a way to be like, nah, you ain't gotta do that, man. Just sit on your ass and just be comfortable. You don't have to overly work. Don't overly work yourself. Like, it's okay. No, apply yourself. Create those good habits of just trying. Know what I mean? And you will get ahead, man. It only takes 1 hour a day to gain muscle. For 5 days a week, 1 hour each day to gain muscle. Some protein. 1 hour a day to your future. And then what the rest of the hours should not be anything that goes against who you're trying to become. And be direct on who that is you're trying to become as well. Now, I mean, I know I'm all over the place, but write that down. Who do I want to be? Who will I be? And I'll be proud of that person. I want to tell y'all something else. And I don't care that I said I was gonna end the video. Who cares? That I have a friend of a friend. I have a homie that has a homie. This homie was probably about my age, tall dude. Every time I see him, he would be smiling, just so happy. Granted, I don't know how this man lived his life because I didn't know him like that. Again, he's a friend of a friend. But we are the same age. This man passed away from cancer that popped up on him. Think about that. I tell you that because another thing in your 20s, don't get caught up in not taking care of your health. Don't think you have all this time to recover later on in life from drugs, from lean. Like, come on, like let's talk real. I was in college. When I was in college, everybody was doing Xanax and shit. I've never done it. I mean, everybody was into like just trying shit with thinking that I'll just do it one time. But you don't know the effects that it'll have on your body. And I'm gonna be real with y'all. You only get one of these shits. No matter how good everything around you looks, you only get one of these. And if you don't take care of this, what is everything around you? You're just gonna be seeing shit, but you won't be able to enjoy it, or you won't be here, or your days will be numbered. This is the truth, yo. This is the truth. I told you this video is gonna be harsh, but it's the truth. Take care of your health. Just because your friend was able to do whatever drug, or your friend is able to eat fast food every day, and your friend is able to, doesn't mean your body could take the same things they can do. Just because your friend could smoke every day and vape and all this and eat and drink and overly drink and like, doesn't mean you can. And just because you don't see any type of repercussions in your body right now, like, you know, I feel good. I'm good. I ain't hurt. Just because you feel like that right now, that does not mean that it's not slowly eating you up inside. Remember, what's inside we can't see. Sometimes we don't even feel until it's too late. Take care of your body. Take care of your finances. Take care of your mental. I'll make a whole nother video about that. You know what I mean? Take care of yourself. Take over your life in your early 20s. It makes the rest of your life so much easier. Food for thought. Most adults are trying to recover from shit that they did in their early 20s, but will sit here and tell you, have fun in your 20s, you have the rest of your life to live. Granted, have fun, but be responsible, because this is the first, that is why banks and loan companies, credit card companies, they are running at people in their 20s. And the early people in the people that are early in their 20s, the 18-year-olds, once they know you can get approved for a credit card, they can't wait to put a credit card in your hand. Not because they can't wait to give you money, it's just because they know you don't know no better. You're gonna run this shit up because you think this is free money. Until you're 25, 26, and now you're finally learning, like, yo, I really fucked up like back then. Now you're trying to make up for it. Life is so much easier if you learn early. If you learn early. Learn from other people's mistakes. You know what I mean? But take care of yourself, man. Or lady, whoever's watching this. If you have a little brother, show him this video. If you have a son, show him this video. If you have a daughter, show her this video. If you have somebody, that you feel like needs this video, please send this to them. If you enjoyed this content, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, turn on your post notifications, whatever. Just like, comment, and subscribe. That's really all I want. But this ain't about that. This is about just putting something on the internet that I know anybody can see, and it can save somebody. You know, it'll make somebody, I'm getting a little emotional thinking about it. It'll make somebody's life a little bit easier. Know what I mean? And this is something I always think about. I always think about my grandkids that I'll probably never meet, because I won't be on this earth anymore. I'll be up there with God. I want them to see this video too. That's how you live a life of purpose. Make it bigger than you, you know? Make it bigger than you, but I'm gonna wind up restarting the whole video, so I ain't even gonna do that to y'all. But yeah, man, just tap in, man. Hey, man, it's been your boy, itstybuggy. Until next time, I'm out of here. Peace.